Welcome back. This is part two of our five-part series, The Soundtrack of Survival, where we're exploring how music holds memory, meaning, and deep emotion. In this episode, we'll lean into the songs that bring us tears, the ones that hit different because they carry grief, joy, resilience, and stories we've never spoken out loud. You will hear real, vulnerable reflections on identity, trauma, healing, and the moments when music spoke for us because we couldn't find the words ourselves. This is about more than nostalgia. It's about how sound becomes language, how lyrics become lifelines, and how certain vibrations seem to find us right when we need them most. Let this be your invitation to feel whatever rises. You're not alone here. Let's get it.
But then I think about going to like music that we don't like to hear due to trauma. I think there's another level to that where you lean into the songs that actually make you cry, right? And I know there's several songs. Leon Bridges' River, man, that damn song gets me every time. I was talking to Ruth the other day because we're gonna do a segment on gospel music, and I did a segment on this about going on, right? The song going out, like there's so much in that when I think of the identity piece and the joy, and just last, I'll land my plane on this one, the joy piece, I think came with certain sounds. Being a Chicago person, right? House music was so big that you didn't have no choice but to listen to it. It was everywhere, right? And if you didn't listen to it, something was wrong with you. People looked at you like, "But this Chicago music." It was a cloth, right? And above us was a DJ who always he woke us up with Jack your body every morning, right? And you felt it. You weren't even angry at him. You were like, yeah. I woke up that way and it felt good, right? So I think a lot of my identity was wrapped up in that movement from the Motown music to the cultural pieces of Spanish music that my mom put me on to her love for Smokey Robinson that made me love Smokey Robinson, right? But then when I left the home and all that identity was on me, it was no more my mom's and the music there. I've out the outside, right? The 4 blocks of my neighborhood gave me all that. It gave me all that institution, gave me all that knowledge. And I was like, yes, this is what I want because I heard people. And then that movement starts beyond the clothing, the people walking around with big ass radios on their shoulders, like how they brought stereo systems out, right? I'm like, we're going to bring stereo systems out and go on and on. Let's go to question number two, y'all. I'm going to go to question number two. Can you share a moment when a song or a piece of music felt like it truly saw you, capturing what you couldn't express in words? Whoever wants to go first.
Bro, mine's easy. Dear Mama. Bro, like, I don't know whether to be happy and celebratory or super sad at the conditions that this woman went through. Right? Like, she was a single mom, right? And knowing what it's like to have a single mom, to have a song out there about praising this woman, like, we're also elevating the fact that this woman had to do it all alone and raise this boy, right? And teach him how to be a man, like that, like all the struggles that we are all unpacking with folks. This song literally walks you through all of that, but you walk away with such an appreciation for your mama. You want to take the song to your mama and be like, "Hey, mama, this is a celebratory song," and I'm like, "Guys, listen to the words. This is a little tougher than celebratory." Right. And for me, it takes me through all the emotions of not just my own story of being that product of a single mom, but it also puts me in the insights of, oh my God, what was her story? Right. Of going through this, the unspoken story, the parts that I will never, ever know about. Right. That part of that journey, you start to see that. And so even when you think about this, the song also amplifies when you think about, oh my God, what else did my mom overcome that I have no clue that I should be like, oh my, right? And so there's this sort of thing. So this is that one that sort of sends me through that. But again, you can play Dear Mama anywhere. We might still be dancing to it. So sometimes I'm like, we're celebrating, but I'm a little, I'm having a little, I'm a product of a single mom moment. So I need to walk to the side and be like, okay, you know what? I can't do the whole song, guys. So it's one of those ones that just takes me through all the way because it really sends me down thinking through my mom's side of the story that I'll never know. Not that I'm making assumptions, but like just even wanting to show up in grace for what she had to survive so that I could be here, right? And you start to think about that, right? So it's one of those one beautiful song, but it just sends me through those emotions.
Well, I'm gonna go next on that same vibe, on that same Tupac vibe, because the song I was thinking about was "Keep Your Head Up," and a lot of times when I listen to this song, like it's very emotional. So I don't know if it's the profession that I'm in, with the things that I've seen, my own personal experiences, but sometimes like this song really resonates because it speaks about the systemic injustices and how like we try so hard in our lives and still feel like we're stuck in the mud and we can't take steps forward. The line that we're not meant to survive because it's a setup, like that, it I find myself saying that to myself more than I would like to say, to say it to myself, just that one line. And like I hear it and then it creates this fight in me. It creates this fire where I'm just like, yes, this is happening and it's not going to do it to me today. And I just keep moving forward. But that's one of the songs that I felt really does like see me in all the different roles that I play. And like sometimes it's not that I can't express it, it's just that it's hard to say things out loud. So that's the song I was thinking about, so for on that Tupac vibe.
I'll go next. For me, I don't even think I have like just one song. Like when I'm going through a breakup, I have a whole playlist of how you hurt my feelings, and I couldn't even express it to you. I just couldn't tell you how I felt, but my music, as I'm driving down the street or I'm in the room, like it expresses how I feel, like how you messed me over, how you hurt my heart, how I should not have been with you. And then on the flip side, like for me. I mean, mine was Biggie. Like it was a do or die double CD. It was the "Fuck You" song with Little Kim. That's what it was for me, and that's how I felt about people when I was in my angry moment. So I'd be trying to put that down and pick up Jesus sometimes.
I can't with you, Ruth. Yeah. Um, I guess for me, it isn't necessarily as a song, it's an artist, and it's Tupac. He's my favorite artist. I think his way with words just connect with me, resonate with me. Um, Keep Your Head Up is like probably my favorite song, and Machiavelli is just also my I gives none of them right now. Like I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Like that's like those like I find myself saying a lot of that because a lot of times in society people think kindness is weakness and actually it's strength. And so like when hearing those things of Tupac and his wordplay and what he stood for, the social justice and all those things, like there's he has a song for me regardless of different emotions that I'm going through, like the Dear Mama, like that really, I really resonated with that to just understand all the stuff um, that my mom had to do, the trials and tribulations of her story, not mine's, her story, and what she's doing raising two kids by herself and things like that. So there's different connection. I don't even know what the song is, but when I lost my best friend, I forget Gangsta Lean. I forgot who did it. Um, that was on repeat. So like when every lyric, like yeah, like so to this day, like I go to a middle school moment. I see myself crying, like, and I miss my homie. um, and like I also think there's different vibrations and frequencies that connect with me. If somebody sings a song, especially a gospel song, and a certain high, like soprano, and they hitting those notes, I just start crying. It just melts my soul, and I just like I'm crying again. Like your tears just start running down your face, and you like I didn't know I was crying until this here hit my Bible or hit my book or hit my phone. So like those are the things that I'm like, oh, this vibration. I needed this energy. I needed this. This is connecting to my spirit.
These are powerful. I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna go super left on this show. So like I hip hop, I do all that, right? But like the artists I would say of recent would be Pharoah Sanders and Jazz. And it's a record called The Gathering that makes me tear up because it starts with a hum of like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then all of a sudden, like it's playing this sweet, beautiful thing, and it gets chaotic. And it goes for like 10 minutes of like pure chaos. And then it breaks and comes back beautifully to the chorus. And that is how my mind works. And it was like feeling seen, like the movie in Sinners. Like I don't know if you guys seen Sinners and they were sitting there. It literally to me was how my mind works when an idea comes in, and I have the universal principle of how I want something to go, and then the inner turmoil of it going everywhere. Boom, this happened, this happened, this happened, and then it comes back to what I'm here for. I swear to God, yo, I hate when it comes back to that, then it's like a cathartic release, yo. Like it me, I so much so we sampling it and putting it out sets just to have it in there. From a gospel perspective, I would say Melody from Heaven does that as well to me when that rain down on me, la 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 la, it fall on me. It's something about that that releases like stress from it. But if we going into like emotionally resonating with, I would also say for me, like Jay has like how you said Pac, like Jay has lines that just stick out to like going to it. Like what you eat don't make me shit. Like just reminding things of that thing. If I shoot you, I'm brainless. If you shoot me, you famous. What am I supposed? But just these ideas of framing. Like I'm making sure I turn gold because when the weather falls, just put away the leathers and put ice on the gold. Chili with enough bail money to free a Big Willie. High stakes, I got more state like Philly. And it's the flow and what he was talking about. And no, I didn't hustle in the capacity of Jay. It was the entrepreneur. I'll go deeper and say he spoke on black entrepreneurship and what it's like to really get it out of there. So like when I really need a pick me up to listen to, there's probably a J line for me to listen to. And if I want to cry, I can listen to DMX. So like Slippin' from DMX. When Slippin' comes on, I want to make records, but I'm fucking it up.
Oh,
Slipping, I'm falling. I gotta get. I can
ouch.
put that on. I can. You know what I'm saying? Like DMX, bring it out. You can be good. And when he start crying, like I remember watching. All right, we talking about emotional. I remember watching a concert of DMX cry, and remember just tearing off of your crying. You know what I'm saying? It's just like going through it. So I would say like those artists, and he made that. I say DMX like for my generation. I'm born in '85. DMX made it a safe space for young men of color to cry, just like Pop did in a certain way. DMX did it a different way of like you can boo hoo and be like, oh, it's like this release of such and such type of thing. So DMX in terms of that.
Uh, the energy of music also flows with generations as it came through, right? When you think about colonization and everything that music that was built there, it was all built for inspiration to help them be resilient and survive. Or if I think about in the Hispanic community, getting rid of Spain, right, and trying to forge that own identity, that music, that art in that space. That museum in Mexico City brilliantly goes through that space, and you can see sort of that sort of tension there. But that music was about overcoming, right? That resistance was there. It's about liberation. It was about sort of that free. And now we're in this abundant space that we're not necessarily talking about that from that core concept that it used to be, right? And so as we navigated through times, right, you saw the music change some of that into some of the focus, even to the point, Wayne, of what you highlighted is that even though we know that what Jay-Z is saying lyrically, you have to dig deeper or consciously think deeper to understand that this is broadly applicable, right? And so how you was able to say, yeah, I wasn't a hustler, but this applies to business strategy, right? And so that is a different level of awareness of thinking versus if we think about this old school music back in the day, that old sort of the blood of Jesus. God, that's all that they could think about because they had no connection to anything in Africa, right? And so, but again, they had been given this Christianity. And so now this Christianity, that was literally the blood of Jesus. It's really that Christianity in some ways, because it was that thing that helped them strength-wise go through. It was the first language that they started to do, the rhythm of, right, singing and coming up with these hymnals, right? And so those are those things that really sort of connect in that way. The way they made instruments out of different pieces of trees, woods, and all of these things. There was some inherent power and that resilience that really flows through those songs, that there's a period of time that almost all of that music is absolutely emotion evoking, because that's what it was designed to do, because it was really a cry out for liberation. It was a call out for, this is why we have to. So in terms of what they was going through, you saw that just like the Harlem Renaissance, that period of time is known for that resistant voice that it had during that time period, right? And so these are those things that we also have to think about in that whole broader that full ecosystemic view of music and what it means and how it brings these things to the table.
Can I say one thing on that? I also want to say, I want to piggyback off what you said for. So what I also feel like at that time was that because they had that, that's what they put. So in hip hop, we got double and triple entendres. But like they were using Christian, like gospel songs to double on and triple entendre it up. So it's something that on one side you can hear as being a gospel song, but there's two other layers that's underneath of it. So that's like the brilliance of that, is because it was like, yeah, but they was also talking about this in this song when they were singing. It's like, why does this song keep getting sung at this time? Or like it's certain words that we use in the Bible more than other people. Like I remember like just how often we use hallelujah or certain things in terms of what we do, and then you kind of tie into like, oh, going up to yonder is not just that, it's this too. Oh, hey yo, like that's the same thing as the bar. So it keeps passing from time to time. So I just wanted to call out our ancestors, shout out to them for always doubling up on meanings and being able to get it all up.
Well, and to that point, it was about survival, right? And so that was the piece I was going to close it on, is that they had to communicate that way so that the slave masters and the law enforcement who was tracking people who got away, that have different ways of communicating, right? So a certain word with a certain sound meant this, and you had to be able to hear the inflection to know what that is, right? And so there's always been this resistance, even when you think about the LGBTQ plus community, and the way it shows up in art and the resistance through art, which is heavily pronounced, right, in that space where they wasn't able to get their music on the radio, right? They were silenced in authorship in certain books, but we could not stop that voice from coming out, right? And these artists from emerging, right? And so it does bring out those voices of folks, whether or not the stories get out or not. And so it has that element of, to sort of close this, is music is always going to have that element of emotion, because it's going to be written from people and the experiences that we have and what we're going through, whether it's struggling to communicate something or it's, hey, we're trying to sort of champion this cause and sort of make that case, right? Being able to communicate through the power of words and that sort of piece there is always going to bring that element to the table.